It's almost frustrating because you'll see the people with narcissistic tendencies break through, and you're like, why is it that people get to be attracted to that? Do I need to become like that to break the initial wall? So what's left for me?
Yeah. No, it's a good point, and it's difficult, especially today. There are a lot of people in really high-level positions, politics, tech companies, all areas of entertainment, in positions of leadership that are scoundrels. I mean, liars, tyrants, and they're in high places, and they seem to be not only protected and can get away with murder in some cases, some do, and a large portion of the world admires them and they make a lot of money. And then you have people that are out there being like, I work my ass off. I really genuinely care about people. And why is it that that person is getting ahead? I mean, I think about that a lot for young people when you have so many shitty role models that are just not, they're not very decent people. And I want to also mention, I have a friend, Dr. Don Wood. He's a trauma therapist, and he's one of my Genius Network members. And he has this great line. It's so good that I wrote about it in my book. And he said, if you understood the atmospheric conditions of somebody's life, it would make sense why they are the way that they are. So my behavior, yours, I mean, everything I say is just my perspective of the world. So I suggest everyone take anything that I'm saying and treat it like a 12-step group, take what you like and leave the rest. If you agree with it, great, try it on for size. Just because I say something doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be, working for everybody. The way that I look at it though, is in the short term, a lot of narcissists and a lot of people seem to get ahead. However, life, although it can be short, it's also long. And I heard this saying early on in my life when I was in my 20s, that it's be nice to the people you meet on the way up. They're the same people you're going to meet on the way down. And especially for younger people, if you're in your teens, 20s, 30s, 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years from now, I'm 55 years old right now. And you will run into people decades later that you don't even realize it, but you will run into some of these people. And you can either leave scorched earth, or you can be a useful, helpful, generous, caring, value-creating human being. And I know a lot of people, and you've seen this too, Jason, where they get famous for a short period of time, or, they write a best-selling book. They, have a successful podcast. They're, it could be an entertainment, musician, actor, actress, whatever. And they rise to the ranks of a certain level in some part of society in their community, but they're kind of shitty to people, or they're real shitty to people. And word gets out, and they start having a reputation. And you can still be very well known and very rich and be kind of a jerk and still have success. But, there's a point where the applause will stop. You will get older. You may get sick. The fair weather isn't fair weather anymore, and it's stormy. In the atmospheric conditions that you left a lot of scorched earth, and you annoyed or hurt a lot of people, and the party will come to an end. The party that was in your favor, at least you thought. And so I believe in karma, and I also just, when someone is only looking at a short period of a slice of life, they can often get misguided in thinking, wow, I don't get it. I don't understand it. If you look long-term though, it almost never works out to see, even if someone, there's a difference between capability and characters. You can have great capabilities. There's a lot of people that have enormous sales capabilities, but what the shrapnel and the consequences of those capabilities are what you want to take into consideration. And so focus less on, the capabilities and more on your character. If you build a strong character, a value, you don't want to adopt someone else's value system. You can read many books, listen to many podcasts, be influenced by a lot of people, but ultimately you got to put it through your own filter. And lasting happiness doesn't come through consuming values. It comes from producing values, and producing more than you consume is what's really important. So as we're all on the journey of learning, it's not about trying to pretend you're, Gary Vaynerchuk or you're some, well-known social media person. It's really about who are you and what's the skills and what's the value that you can bring, and do you really care? And I never probably had that thought 20 years ago. I had to go through a lot of just heartbreak, some betrayals. I've sat with several people, my father, my best friend, Sean Stevenson, who you probably remember, little guy in the wheelchair, who was really not a little guy. He was a giant, but he was 3 feet tall and he had a brittle bone condition. And I was with him, when he died in the hospital, along with his wife and a couple of other friends. And, my dear friend, Dr. Janice Dorn, I've sat with people on, while they were dying, and some of them I was their primary caretaker. And, when you're sitting with someone where you can't help them anymore, where they're going to die or they're in incredible pain, oftentimes the only thing you can do is just be present. And those moments are very difficult and they're very painful, and they're also beautiful. And I really hope that when that time comes, if it does come for me, I hope I have people surrounding me, and it doesn't matter what your status is or how many followers you have or how much money you have. Money helps, though. I don't want to poo-poo money. Let me make that clear. People that say money can't buy happiness, I buy happiness all the time with money. And people that say money can't buy happiness, you haven't given enough of it away, because oftentimes if you can create means, you can help someone with education, with medical care, with all kinds of stuff. So money's important in the right context, though. Like, Jim Rohn said, though, you can't pay someone to do your push-ups for you, and you can't pay someone to really love you. You can be a rich person and just be an asshole to a lot of people, and they may be hanging around while the money's there, but they may not respect you. And so the real currency is the currency of connection and relationships. That's really valuable. And the truth is, if you want to make more money, you're going to make a lot more money being a decent human than being a connector versus a true connector. And so whatever skills, marketing, business, whatever someone's studying, if you do that through the lens of what's in it for them, I think you can do pretty well. I have a lot of friends, a lot of relationships, and I run a multi-million-dollar business too. And that all started out, from being a dead broke carpet cleaner, living off credit cards, and having such severe addictions at one point in my life that when I was 18 years old, I weighed 105 pounds from freebasing cocaine for over 3 months straight. Not a single day went by where I was not, doing large quantities of cocaine, and just nearly killed myself. And the human spirit, if you don't completely destroy it, is quite resilient. And thank God I had people around me that cared more about me at times than I cared about myself, and I learned a lot from that. So part of it is, live that way as best I can, because sometimes life is wonderful and exciting and challenging and awesome and filled with joy, and other times it's you can become desperate, self-centered, rude, oftentimes cruel. So I do my best to constantly check myself before I wreck myself, sort of thing.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe, because I know you also are a big advocate and a supporter for people that have went through the same struggles that you have in your younger time. And I think that's one of the big ways that you actually give back, and kind of anchors, everything that you do in this kind of giving spirit.